Drill Sergeant Leader Andrew Yost, your Master of Ceremony. We would like to extend a warm welcome to Command Sergeant Major Monty C. Drummond, distinguished guests, families, and friends to the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for Class 022-25.
Sentinels!
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party, the invocation given by Chaplain Morgan, and the playing of our national anthem.
Please join me in prayer. And now, Almighty God, we pause to thank you for this time together to ceremonially commemorate what has been accomplished. For you, Lord, only you know the difficulties and challenges sustained to bring these graduates here. Only you know the full amount of effort, drive, and persistence that it took to fulfill the requirements laid before them so long ago. And Lord, we thank you for those challenges, for you yourself showed yourself faithful. And it is in that faithfulness we now ask you to continue. For we know that there will be greater challenges and troubles ahead. And as they lean on you for strength, for wisdom, for boldness to do the right thing, I ask you to daily walk with them and be gracious to them as they walk out their calling. And we recognize those who earn this ceremony. We ask you to call us all to greater levels of service for you, for each other, and for our nation. We trust you for this, and for all things we give you glory. Amen. Amen. Please be seated. Since 1964, drill sergeants have been responsible for training our Army's volunteer fighting force. Fort Jackson is home to the only drill sergeant academy in our Army and is responsible for providing drill sergeants to every training center across the initial military training enterprise. Since its inception, the purpose of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Program is to transform non-commissioned officers into drill sergeants, who in turn have the responsibility to transform civilians into soldiers. Our national treasure, the thousands of American young men and women who have volunteered to answer the call of a grateful nation. The job of the drill sergeant is one of a professional trainer, coach, mentor, and leader. This is not an easy or simple job, and it comes with sacrifices that each drill sergeant must make in order to perform this extremely important mission.
Those who are graduating today will spend the next 2 to 3 years on the trail, training the next generation of our Army. The phrase "on the trail" comes from the frontier days when cattle were driven from California to Colorado to be marketed. The original drill sergeants coined this phrase because of the similar process of moving soldiers from one place to another with few problems or loss along the way. There is a continued effort to move drill sergeants to that high degree of excellence and expertise for which they are known. The drill sergeant course is both stressful and challenging. The 9 weeks of training are broken down into 12-hour days, adding up to 446 hours of instruction. This training is a privilege, reserved for the best of the best. Only the top 10% of all sergeants, Army-wide, are eligible to attend the drill sergeant course. Not all sergeants complete this difficult period of training. On September 10th, 122 candidates arrived. During the course, 59 sergeants were removed for various reasons, with 12 being inserted, resulting in the 75 that are graduating here today. Those graduating represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit drill sergeants who exemplify the drill sergeant creed. All 75 drill sergeants truly are the proud example of our Army and will undoubtedly transform the next generation of civilian volunteers into soldiers that are fully capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. Ladies and gentlemen, identified by their distinctive headgear and pistol belt, are the drill sergeant leaders responsible for having trained and mentored today's graduating class. Drill sergeant leaders instruct the course in small groups of 20 candidates on average. They are highly motivated, professional and seasoned drill sergeants who have a minimum of 1 year experience in the initial entry training environment from any of the 4 training centers and advanced individual training locations. They were hand-selected to serve as drill sergeant leaders. As a result of demonstrating expert leadership, mastery of warrior tasks and battle drills, and consistently performing at the top 1% of their peers. In addition, all have completed the TRADOC Drill Sergeant Leader Certification Program. Please join me in a round of applause for their hard work and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Command Sergeant Major Joshua R. Vital.
All right, team, everything we do here, we do loud and proud. So I need you all to join in for that standard. So, good morning. Good morning. That's not going to cut it. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, now we can train. Hey, good morning, Command Sergeant Major Drummond. Distinguished guests, families, and friends. Thank you for joining us today for the Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for class 02225. From the attendance today, it is clear these drill sergeants have amazing families and friends supporting them. What a great day to be a soldier. An even better day to be here, surrounded by the future of the United States Army, represented by the Army's newest drill sergeant. The fact that the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy is the gold standard for NCO development and cadre certification is clearly on display today. My name is Command Sergeant Major Josh Vital, the Commandant, proudly serving alongside the most highly motivated and well-trained drill sergeants in the United States Army. Nothing happens in the Academy without a drill sergeant leader making it happen. Do me a favor and give them one more round of applause, please. A drill sergeant is the standard bearer for the United States Army and the very epitome of what we expect of a soldier. Drill sergeants are expected to live the Army values, exemplify the war ethos, and be guardians of the Army profession. They are responsible for coaching, teaching, motivating, inspiring, and mentoring the future of the Army as they transform them from civilians to combat-ready soldiers. A typical day as a drill sergeant starts before dawn and ends well after sundown. Drill sergeants are the first impression for every trainee and all they know of the Army. Drill sergeants, make no mistake, your trainees will emulate you. Being a drill sergeant is one of the most difficult jobs in our Army. It is also one of the most rewarding. How critical a drill sergeant is to our Army cannot be overstated, nor can the sacred trust that is being bestowed on you today. American families across this great land are entrusting you with their prized possession, their children. The future of America is being placed in your care for the most formative time in their Army careers. Your impact will last a lifetime. Just as you remember your drill sergeants, so will the soldiers you train remember you. Will you be remembered for how you invested in them, believed in them when they didn't even believe in themselves, always enforced the standard, and challenged them to keep going? Or will you be remembered for something else? Class 02225, congratulations on accomplishing this daunting challenge. You met or exceeded every standard. You surmounted every obstacle. But the challenge is just beginning. Enjoy the time between now and when you report. Take time to reflect on the challenge that lies ahead and what you hope to achieve. There will be times when you are tired, hot, cold, hungry, and more. Look to your battle buddies during those times and spur one another along. Your experience as a drill sergeant will be directly impacted by the battle buddies you have and are. The task is great. You are charged with nothing less than training tomorrow's leaders. The Army, the country, and the Constitution are depending on you. Today's guest speaker is Command Sergeant Major Monty C. Drummond. Command Sergeant Major Drummond leads the Soldier Support Institute and graduated BCT and AIT right here at Fort Jackson a couple years ago. A long list of assignments in numerous organizations demonstrate his exceptional performance, character, and stewardship of the profession. Please join me in welcoming Command Sergeant Major Monty C. Drummond.
All right. Hey, teammates, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
All right. I know I couldn't say it any better than the DSA Commandant. I mean, that motivation is really infectious. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, cadre, families, and our newest drill sergeant standing before us today. Today is not a finish line, it's a transformation. You arrive hungry and eager non-commissioned officers and leave here today as shapers of American soldiers. You've been tested, pushed beyond comfort, and refined under pressure, but not to break you, but to reveal you. The truth is that the campaign hat you don today doesn't make you a drill sergeant. The badge doesn't make you a drill sergeant. Command voice doesn't make you a drill sergeant. Those are all symbols of a drill sergeant. What makes you a drill sergeant is your heart for soldiers, your hunger for excellence, and your refusal to quit when the mission gets heavy. And believe me, that mission will get heavy. Nothing truly prepares you for the moment 240 warriors will stare at you very attentively like you hold the answers to life, discipline, and the universe. Like the Commandant said, your day will start before sunup and long end after it gave up. Weekends will disappear. Holidays were just another work day, and sleep, I'll tell you what, that's just a rumor. But I would tell you that every graduation will make it worth it. Because you just don't train soldiers, drill sergeants. You witness transformations. While your peers are out at clubs Saturday nights, you remain focused, steadfast, and committed to something bigger than yourself. Because while they were chasing the moment, you were preparing to change lives. So there I was, a brand new drill sergeant back in 2005, Alpha Company 213th Infantry Regiment right here on Fort Jackson, South Carolina, BCT. A fresh badge, a crisp campaign hat, and just enough confidence for the Army to humble the hell out of me. I thought I was ready to lead soldiers. Then 60 trainees stepped off that bus and taught me what leadership really looks like. Because that's the irony of that campaign hat you would don today. You think you earned it, so you changed them. But then you put it on and realize they changed you. They taught me patience when I wanted perfection. They taught me purpose on nights when the clock felt broken. And they taught me that yelling gains attention, but leadership gains transformation. Most will argue and say that drill sergeants are loud just to be loud. And I'm here to tell you we're not. We raise our voice so it carries over fear, confusion, and self-doubt. We look mean because compassion doesn't change lives. Standards do. It wasn't easy, not for them, not for me, but it mattered. And if I had to do it again, I tell you what, I would put that hat on without hesitation. I learned quickly that a drill sergeant doesn't just train soldiers to meet the standard. We train them so the standard lives beyond us. So one day, they become leaders shaping the next generation, following in our footsteps. And now, here you stand. The torch is yours, not by accident, not by convenience, but because you were selected to carry that torch. To the families here today, we thank you in advance for your flexibility, your patience, and the love shown to these brand new drill sergeants. Because they will miss dinners, they will miss bedtime stories, they will miss family gatherings, but we all know the sacrifices you make, and we're nothing without our families. So thank you. Let's give them a round of applause to the families. To the DSA cadre, thank you for guarding the legacy of a drill sergeant, for not just teaching the course, but for forging leaders. To the graduates, when those trainees step off that bus, timid, uncertain, and overwhelmed, remember this. You may be the first leader they ever meet, but you will be the one they never forget. So lead with fire, but lead with purpose. Demand excellence, but show them it's possible. Push them harder than they believe they can go, but then show them they had more to give all along. Your campaign hat would never make you better than anyone, but it will make you responsible for everyone. You will serve in rain that hurts, punishable heat, and nights that never end. But your legacy isn't in the miles run or the commands given. It's in the soldiers who still hear your voice when life gets hard and lock in anyway from the impact you will make on these soldiers' lives. You will not just train soldiers for the moment. You will shape these soldiers for a lifetime. So carry that badge with pride. Wear that hat with honor and lead this Army like you've been trained to do. Congratulations, graduates. You are no longer candidates. You are drill sergeants. Now go take this Army and leave it better than the way you found it. This will defend. Victory definitely starts here. And let's graduate. Go.
The Drill Sergeant Academy would like to recognize the supporters of the cycle for their exceptional professionalism and dedication to excellence in support of the unit's total mission. Presenting the supporter awards is Drill Sergeant Leader Nectaria C. The staff supporter of the cycle is Sergeant Damian Moda. His behind-the-scenes attention to detail kept training on track with limited distractions. The training supporter of the cycle is Sergeant First Class Maurice Shirley. His commitment to supporting training and development had significant impact on the drill sergeants in front of you today. Please join me in a round of applause for the supporter awardees. Drill and ceremony is the basis for standards of discipline in the initial entry training environment. During the course, the drill sergeant candidates are instructed and assessed on their ability to perform and teach drill and ceremony positions and movements, culminating with the drill and ceremony competition. The squad that displayed the highest level of proficiency is awarded the drill and ceremony trophy to be displayed until the following cycle. For class 022-25, the drill and ceremony competition winner is 4th Platoon, 3rd Squad, who was led by Drill Sergeant Justin O'Brien. Please join me in a round of applause for the winning squad of the drill and ceremony competition. At the Drill Sergeant Academy, it is tradition to appropriately recognize those who distinguish themselves by their outstanding performance. In keeping with this tradition, the following awards are presented. The Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is the drill sergeant leader who displayed the highest contribution to the entire platoon, created an impeccable learning environment, and displayed a standard for all graduating drill sergeants to follow. For Class 022-25, the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is Drill Sergeant Leader Scott Freimeyer, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. At this time, First Command will present the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle with a gift for their outstanding leadership. Please join me in another round of applause for the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle. Senior Drill Sergeant Leader William Plummer will now present the graduating class their distinctive headgear. Please hold your applause and cheering until the awardees have been acknowledged. The Leadership Award is presented to the candidate who displayed the highest degree of professionalism and demonstrated sound judgment while performing in leadership positions. The Leadership Award recipient and member of the Commandant's List is Drill Sergeant Damian Caldwell, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. At this time, the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club Victory Chapter will present the Distinguished Leadership Award with a gift for their stewardship to the Non-Commissioned Officer Corps and actions consistent with the values of the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award is given to the candidates who displayed the highest degree of physical fitness during the Iron Drill Sergeant Fitness Test. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award recipient is Drill Sergeant Ryan Getty, Fort Gordon, Georgia, with a score of 493 points. Each awardee will receive a token for exceeding the standards while in the course. Please join me in a round of applause for the awardees. The following drill sergeant has exceeded course standards, demonstrated exceptional physical fitness, and maintained a grade point average in the top 20% of their graduating class. For these achievements, he is rightfully placed on the Commandant's List. Drill Sergeant Anthony Ariano, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Please join me in a round of applause for the Commandant's List. Ladies and gentlemen, the following drill sergeants are graduates of Class 022-25. Please hold your applause and cheering until the last drill sergeant is acknowledged.
Drill Sergeant Saul Aquino, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Justin Rambless, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Astrid Arden, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Kinsey Benoit, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Austin Bro, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Caleb Charles, 95th Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Beverly Cobos, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Javaris Cole, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Kelsey Collins, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Eric Costin, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Austin Freeland, Fort Huachuca, Arizona.
Drill Sergeant Angie Curdy, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Antoinette Curry, Fort Littlewood, Missouri. Woo, woo. Drill Sergeant Shalia Curtis, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Woo!
Drill Sergeant Roy Dennis IV, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Woo! Drill Sergeant Rebecca Johnson, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Stanella Duff, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Gage Durling, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Ryan Early, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Jember Fajardo, Fort St. Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Mark Frankhauser, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Andrew Green, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Daisy Gutierrez, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Francisco Gutierrez, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Enrique Hernandez, Delaware National Guard.
Drill Sergeant Kendra Kelly, Fort Littlewood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Jordan Lemuel, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Emily Upjoy, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Jeremy Lucena, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Kyle Lunsford, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Brandon Bonjapani, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Jesse Joe Antonia, Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Taylor Martin, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Cicely Martinez, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Dimitri McIntyre, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Alexander Morgan, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Keith Munia, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Jacob Nathan, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Issa Endoy, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Travis Nephew, Georgia National Guard. Drill Sergeant Caleb Nataro, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Justin O'Brien, 108 Training Command. Here, boy. Drill Sergeant Kevin Grady, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Brian Ralph, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Hassan Ramon, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Giovanni Rangel, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant James Richmond, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Nirma Rodriguez, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Anthony Rojas, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Paul Semmel, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Charlene Santiago, First Mission Support Command, Puerto Rico.
Drill Sergeant Gary Scott, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Yo, yo! Drill Sergeant Christian Sexton, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Angelica Smith, Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Wyatt Smith, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant David Stepp Jr., Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Paul Strickland, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Robert Tarsi, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Sean Terry, 108 Training Command. Sir. Drill Sergeant Benjamin Thiel, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant O'Dane Todd, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Ryan Tony, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Aron Terry, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Edward Turk, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Hugo Valencia, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Airborne.
Drill Sergeant Torrance Botas, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Bailey Bopel, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Jonathan Zuby, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the Army's newest drill sergeant. At this time, Leadership Awardee Drill Sergeant Caldwell will present a token of appreciation to our guest speaker, Command Sergeant Major Monty C. Drummond.
Sergeant Major, on behalf of Class